last year where I blew the clutch up in the first and second synchro, so it was down for 3 months. I haven't really wanted to get rid of it for any reason other than upgrading to something more expensive. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, do me a huge favor, go down and subscribe. I have owned my Mustang for just about 2 years now. I believe next week we will officially hit 2 years with this car. It doesn't really feel like I've owned it for 2 years. It feels like I've owned it for like 15 years. It just feels like I've owned this car forever for some reason. I guess we've had so many experiences with it. I've driven it so much, put like 20,000 miles on it or so, a little under 20,000 miles on it. We've had our fair share of mileage put on this car and fun with it. It is warm. I just took it out. I've basically been daily driving this car the last couple of days and it is extremely filthy, but let's talk about the ownership experience with it and everything that goes along with that. So I bought this car in 2021 as my daily driver. I was supposed to buy something practical, but then I decided this was the most practical thing that I could buy and sensible thing I could buy at the time, which I have absolutely no regrets about because this car has been the daily and has done the job and more. I bought the car with about 7,000 or 6,000 miles, slightly used for about $36,000. It was just the time where the market was kind of just like hitting the bottom part. Once we got a couple months into the ownership of this car, I put an exhaust on it right away. A couple months after that, I did some wheels, the wrap, the wing, and did a couple of cosmetic things. And then after that, didn't really do anything whatsoever. One of the main reasons was I own the car. I did tons of videos with it, tons of miles, driving it every day, and taking care of the car at the same time. Then we hit summer of last year where I blew the clutch up in the first and second synchro, so it was down for 3 months, on and off, mainly off. So my transmission just blew up. So then when I got the car back, I never really drove it all too much. At that point in time, I had the Miata fixed up, so I had another car. And then a couple of months ago, I picked up that thing, and I've been driving the Bronco ever since. But I lately, this week, picked the car back up, been driving it, enjoying it once again. I've owned the car for 2 years, done a ton of miles, had issues, had problems, and also enjoyed it at the same time. Well, I can tell you this, I wouldn't go back and change this and buy another car. There's always something that's going to be better and something greater, but in my opinion, for the money, the price point, and everything you get, this car is the best bargain in the category. V8 comes in manual option, even though manuals aren't too strong. Talk about that in another second, but V8 manual, 460 horsepower, tunable to up to 500 wheel horsepower NA, and has a good interior, plenty of space, comfortable, not too low. I mean, there's not really too much more to say. I've said everything that you would need. And these last 2 years with this car have been awesome. I mean, it is literally everything I thought it would be, even though we had a couple of issues with the clutch and whatnot and the transmission. As long as I kind of take care of it and I monitor everything and make sure I do a couple of things to beef up this trans, even though you shouldn't have to do that, but a simple short throw and just looking after and taking care of it, this car shouldn't have any problems. For those who are looking to buy Mustangs, for those who came to this video to get my opinions and thoughts of the ownership and whether you're thinking about buying one or getting one in the future, or you want a Mustang and you kind of want to see how it stacks up, the car is amazing. I've driven, at this point, a decent amount of cars, and to this day, I haven't really wanted to get rid of it for any reason other than upgrading to something more expensive. And between this year and last year, I had a couple of issues. And I still am saying the same things I said last year as I said this year, where this is an awesome car, and unfortunately, it did let me down a little bit, but now that it's fixed, I still don't see myself selling it or seeing a reason why you should kind of stay away from them. The MT82s are a little finicky. If you're looking for a car that you absolutely want to pound on for like a year, I don't think the MT82 is for you. But if you want a car that you can enjoy, you want to keep for a couple years, an entry-level sports car, I think they're great, or even for people who want to build big power in these cars. This platform, there's so much you can do with. So realistic things I want to do to this car are just like minor cosmetic things or some interior touches. I mean, cosmetically, what I want to do is fix this paint up. I think I might take the wrap off and go just plain again and get this paint just looking really nice. I want to make sure, since it does have like all the Wisconsin salt and nonsense on it, at one point I will go underneath, get it fully blasted, because I do not plan to drive this car in Wisconsin winters after this year. More to come on that, but I want to just get this car fully blasted, all of the pieces that I started to have a little bit of surface rust effects from the salt, clean it off, and get this thing 100% dialed back in like I bought it. Not saying I'm going fully back to factory, but just the condition wise, I think the condition has gone down a little bit, and it's definitely revivable still, because it's just things that need to be cleaned and it hasn't been cleaned, so I want to do all of those things this year. Along with that, one of my favorite modifications I see on cars that I don't have are Euro lights. I love the Euro tail lights on Mustangs. I think it's like a mandatory thing, but I just never have done it because they're so expensive. They're like $600 plus. Even these little like brake lights or whatever they're called, reflectors, they're like 70 bucks a piece, so nothing is cheap. Stepping to the inside, I mean, it's so factory in here. It's great, you know. I love the interior. There's not too many things I want to change. It's not like I want to do hardcore buckets or anything, but I've always wanted to do a GT350 like steering wheel to this car. I've been looking into options lately, so that might be something I pick up. I'm not trying to do carbon galore. This is factory carbon. This is factory carbon. I just want to complement that with a steering wheel that looks a little more appropriate for the car, I guess. I don't think I'm going to do any of the performance things just because of cost factors, because I'm trying to save as much money as possible. Small mods I'll dish out money for, but when it gets into $3,000 to $4,000 modifications, I want to just hold back for just a little bit until I get in a place where I am okay with dishing some more money out for this car. But honestly, I love it how it is right now. It's just so simple, drivable, and just usable. I don't want to make this car anything different than that at this point in time. If you guys don't know what this wrap is for, the wrap is actually a Ford GT Heritage wrap. If you guys have ever seen the Ford GTs, GT40s, they have this kind of scheme they did in Le Mans, and then I believe John Hennessy has a Heritage car that has a really similar livery done to it. So that's kind of where it's been inspired from. Other than the small modifications I plan to do this year, I just want to drive the car. I want to just make up for the mileage I didn't do last year and just drive it. This thing sounds so good. That is all I have for this video though. 2 years of this car have been awesome, and I just can't wait to continue to drive it and experience it more. This last year has been a little rough, but nothing we won't get over. I have some transmission things I want to do now that I think about them, but we'll talk about those in the future. All I have for this video, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.